Recording. As the nice lady said, this meeting has started and being recorded. And yeah, welcome to our new community call and Ask Me Anything session. This week we're gonna start at least with focusing on BrightID stars, and then we're gonna ask them questions and listen to them for a bit, for once. And yeah, I want to kickstart this, and I want to give a very short story of what happened and how we came up with BrightID stars. And yeah, it was in the I think it was while we were having one hive and then Gitcoin grants, where the I vividly remember the first party, connection party that we had. It was me and I think Philip, and maybe Adam was there or not. And then it was full house. It was 100 people, and it was like two of us there that was gonna help people get verified on BrightID. And then uh, we thought that, oh, we need help. We need people from this community to help us. And then we got introduced to many amazing people, friendly people. I think Carlos was one of the early ones. Ehsan was one of the early ones,
Yeah,
and
Joran and
of course
Remy
Jorin, Remy,
and Sergey.
and remember what was his name? Pi, Mr. Pi. Forgot his name.
I remember Dan with a
Daniel.
backpack.
Dan. No.
Dan,
That's Daniel too. Dan with a backpack was there.
Oh,
And
backpack.
they kept showing up before we even talking about BrightID stars and a role like that. Like Jorin was there, always helping out with the community in the early calls, and he was so good at it. Like, if you wouldn't know, you would think that yeah, Jorin has been like hosting these calls for so many years, and like he's doing it again. And then we thought, okay, let's have a role on Discord and everywhere as BrightID stars. So when people have that role, other people in the community would trust them and say, oh, this is a BrightID star. It's official. These people know about BrightID. These people can help us find our way in BrightID to get verified, to recover our accounts, to figure out how to connect our BrightID to different applications. And yeah, these are the people that we can get support from. And that's the story of BrightID stars, which have been going on for so long. Has it been like, how many months has it been? 6 months? More?
More than that, yeah.
More than that,
I
yeah.
think it's more, yeah.
Basically been a whole year, right? it?
Not yet.
No.
Well, for me, no. It will be.
Something like that. Yeah.
More all of last year, so probably like 3/4 of a year or something.
Was November? No, October, November.
Yeah, in that time frame.
I've been here since fall, I think. So it's not the whole.
Fall. Yeah. And I think BrightID stars can be expanded. We can have so many more BrightID stars with the more demand that we have day after day, with people coming from all corners of the world trying to get verified on BrightID. And the thing that we didn't mention is the fact that almost all of our BrightID stars speak at least two languages. Pretty good. English, and like Ehsan speaks Farsi, Carlos speaks Spanish, Sergey and Igor and Vladislav, they speak Russian. Ashraf speaks the Bangladeshi and Indian natively. Jorin, I think, speaks a bit of French. Yeah, because Canada, you need to speak a bit of French, right?
You muted, Jorin. Okay.
A little bit. I speak not fluently different languages. I speak nerdy though. Yeah.
Nerdy.
Nerdy.
Yeah, I can understand a bit of it. Yeah, but
Jorin,
like,
is that a language? I've never heard of that language.
No.
he's just a nerd.
Yeah, I'm just a
Oh,
nerd.
oh, nerdy. Got it. I was
Yeah.
like, I heard Merity, and I was like, I have no idea where in the world they speak Merity, but
What I heard was dirty.
Yeah,
I speak dirty.
as an
That's
studio.
cool.
I
Yeah,
could
but
speak
yeah,
dirty to you as well.
Oh.
but being a multilingual always helps because we want these stars to be able to speak to different people all around the world. What we didn't mention was the Chinese BrightID stars that we have. Most of them are from Dao Square. They have daily calls in China, and I think the only stars that we have that don't speak English are the Chinese BrightID stars. Who like we have a couple of them who speak English as well to some extent, but like there are 5 of them who don't speak any English. They need some translators to help them out with English. But yeah, we have the Chinese BrightID stars as well. And then when we when the word goes out and we reach countries that do not speak English so well, then we need more BrightID stars from those regions who could like communicate with those people. Right now we're talking in how many languages? English, Farsi, Spanish, German. We forgot German,
Yeah, you forgot
Russian,
German.
Bangladeshi. So 6 different languages, Chinese 7, and we want to have more because the goal is to reach all corners of the world, not just these countries and languages. But we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there little by little. But yeah, that's the story of BrightID stars, and that's what BrightID stars do. They help out the community, learn about BrightID, get verified on BrightID, and get support from BrightID. My first question would be, is that all a community member in BrightID can do to help out the community, or do you have other activities that the community can do for the community? And what would those activities be in your mind?
I think personally, like I'm always like evangelizing. If not for crypto in general, for those that are initiated into crypto, like I'm always evangelizing for Bright ID and the other projects that I'm interested in. So I think that that is an important part of being a Bright ID star, being a good community member, quote unquote good community member, is just like sharing your experience, sharing your perspective of why BrightID in particular is needed in the space and is a useful piece to add to the overall ecosystem. I think that's super important to always be kind of working on in a non-invasive kind of dogmatic way.
Shilling BrightID everywhere. Oh, have you heard
Exactly.
of BrightID?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of the best ones to spread the word everywhere. Like you could use BrightID for this. Yeah. So I want to know if our stars here have something in mind that I wanted to talk about in a call like this that everyone is around. Is there anything that you want to express and you haven't had the chance to?
Actually, I think we are open to questions, but uh, as brighter stars, I think like we get uh, some people that are using Bright ID just only to use like some applications. So they are not developer or other things. So they don't care about like investigating on Bright ID or like exploring what Bright ID, how Bright ID is working. So what they see is like I think they see us. They see like Bright City Stars. They attend the meetings. They if they have any problem, they report like on Discord, and that's what we do to be supportive to the community. And yeah,
We are the faces of BrightID. That's true.
Okay, perfect. So I just finished sending the pubs to everyone so I can focus now on the meeting. Finally, I made a
You can
mistake,
do
so
what to the meeting?
I just focus on the meeting.
Ah, okay.
okay. You didn't send me the poem.
Ah, don't tell me that.
I got
What's your
mine.
name?
Do you think the chat is disabled? How did you do that?
Oh, yeah, why?
He's a co-host.
Mm,
He's a
Oh,
co-host.
okay, yeah, I miss you. Why? Okay,
One of
got
the
you.
things that we've been doing in the parties and as a rule is that we have the English ones as an like an international one. So if someone comes in and doesn't speak English so well, it's fine. We help out. We try to like communicate with them. But in all these other languages, we just speak that language and that language only. So that's another tool that we are using to keep the spammers out
Mm-hmm.
because they can't like just show up in any party, because if they show up in a Chinese party and they don't speak Chinese, they're not gonna get verified. Do you think there are languages that we should have right now and we're not supporting?
I think we verified everyone. We made connections with everyone in Nigeria, like the whole country, during this week.
Yeah, we,
And
we, we invaded Nigeria, true. We went
yeah,
up to full parties for like 10 days, 15 days, and now it's going down to like 50, 60. Yeah, yeah, Nigeria knows has Bright ID now.
I think
yeah,
the most important aspect of the language is understanding the information we are giving to them in the meetings, more than just being there. What we look or is to give them a really good information about the project. So that's the more important about the language. But we got a few people that doesn't speak the language we got. An example, yesterday we got a French guy that doesn't speak English, but speak a little bit of Portuguese. So the Portuguese is similar to the Spanish, so we can communicate with them. But I'm sure he missed a lot of information. And later in the Discord, he was asking how to make the recovery connection because he understand that he
Mm.
has to do it, but doesn't understand how to do it. So that's like the only barrier we. But always is a little bit of people. We doesn't have a meeting like with 20 or 40 French guys trying to verify it. So in this world, in the modern world, almost everyone is eager to learn English, to learn English. So the English is really popular in the world. That's
Yeah. Yeah, when I joined back again, like I used to work in 2018 for a company, international company, so my English was better. But when I joined, like, yeah, it was trying my best to make myself a little bit clear and work out that. But yeah, having the different languages and being able to just provide the information and what we're trying to convey, like what's right, the what it wants to achieve in the long term, and well, we are trying something in the Spanish speaking meeting. Like the Spanish speaking meeting is the longest one. With Naruto, we are doing like a super long meeting, explaining everything about ID, even explaining some of the apps, and even trying to tell people to please keep and conserve their accounts. They're really important. Don't share with anyone, or don't do it for any other person, because we have seen some communities will somehow one person managing a couple of people or even more than that, and they're real, they're unique, they're humans, their account is unique, but they're still being managed by someone just getting the rewards or the perks that you get having a Bright account. So we have gone even further on that regard and telling people right away that your account is really valuable, that you should keep it, there's a lot of opportunities, and try to explain a couple of the projects and what's coming next as well, with some of the projects that we see on the app right now. So yeah, well, that's an experiment that we're probably going to have some thoughts about it later. Like, you think people will get super bored and leave? It's actually the opposite. Sometimes you even get more engagement when you make the meetings longer, and try to engage with more people, ask them why they came for, what they're looking at, or, or what they want to achieve with this, and that help us route them a little bit. Like, I remember some time ago, like, saying that, well, people should not, well, get too excited to being verified in Brady, but I think we can change that in the future. Like, actually, people getting excited being verified, and yeah, well, uh, we have exciting news coming in the couple months, in the next month. So uh, I think it's going to be really awesome for them to to see that. And also, well, right now, well, Brighty Stars probably going to, well, help a little bit, well, more, well, shaping the social graph in the future with okay, Philip say talk about Aura last week, so I can talk about it like right now, just just a hint of it. He probably wants to speak a little bit more about it, and how Bright Stars can actually help a little bit more with that in mind. So
There are like certain questions that we usually avoid. Like we don't usually ask like where are you from or what your real name is, or like stuff that are personal and is like kind of against the motto of BrightID. But questions like that, what are you going to use BrightID for, or what brought you to BrightID? Those are questions that people are really interested in talking about. They don't like, yeah, they don't shy away. They start talking. They want to engage with us. And one of the features of our community and BrightID users is the fact that, like, I think the majority of them are getting into crypto right now. Like, this is something that they are using for the first time, and it's like a gateway to get into crypto because they've heard of honey that they can claim and they can like turn into money, and now they understand that there is a wallet, and now I have to connect it, and now BrightID is the first step to claim honey, so that they come to BrightID. So I think this BrightID connection party is kind of a good opportunity if we design it nicely in the long run to get people familiarized with the whole crypto ecosystem, with the whole project. This is their first easy meeting about crypto. And I'm sure there are lots of improvements that we can have in these parties. And there are lots of opportunities to introduce people to all these different uh, parties or meetings that they can join and learn more about different aspects of crypto. But yeah, I just imagine a future where people come in, learn about BrightID, make connections, and like learn about one of the projects that are linked to BrightID more in that party, which might be like sponsoring us for that like specific connection party, like Tuesdays on me, or this week these days we talk about one hive, this other day we talk about that. That would be interesting to me because yeah, people when they join for BrightID, they are thirsty about learning about
mhm.
projects that are linked to BrightID. And yeah, it's a good opportunity and we should use it.
So, like, I will get this opportunity to ask probably Adam and Philip, what do you guys think, or how do you probably envision Bright Stars in a couple of years, or if we are going to be many, or if it's just going to be less. Well, I know that Bright is really evolving constantly. Like, that's awesome, well, to be part of this and see how everything keeps moving and switching and being twisted, and I really like it. But yeah, like even if we reach a point in which we don't need too many bright stars to verify people, what's probably going to happen, I think I don't know if education or something. Yeah, would love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll be a good thing when we don't need as many BrightID stars, because what that will mean is that your friends and family are teaching you everything you need to know. And that means you're making higher quality connections, because the connection you're making to a BrightID star is not really that high quality. I mean, from your point of view, like they're just meeting you, you're just meeting them. That's not the high quality connection that you want. So if you can have your friend or family member introduce you to BrightID and they can explain everything, then that's perfect. So you can think about like, so let's, like if you think about a product that's ubiquitous, like let's say Google search or something like that. So if I'm trying to teach someone who's new to using a computer, I might explain to them how Google search works, and so we don't need to talk to someone from Google to get that figured out, because I already know how it works and I'm familiar with it. So it'll be the same way with BrightID, where like most people will be familiar with it, and if someone is new, their friends or family will show them how to do it. And maybe at first it'll seem like, oh, it's just the geeky people that know how to use it, but I don't really think so. I don't even think it'll actually go through that phase, because I think it's more like, I don't think it's that like that geeky or like tech heavy of a solution. It's pretty easy. Like if you know how to use a mobile phone, you can probably figure out how to use BrightID with some basic, without being like a technical person. So so I think it'll just be like, friends and family members helping each other. So where does that leave BrightID stars? I don't know. Maybe they'll transition their friendliness over into the BrightID seed building area, because we've talked before about like how important it is to have seed groups. And so, I mean, and I'm sure, as you all know, as all you BrightID stars know, you are members of a seed group, like a special seed group that's like the global seed group or the universal seed group, where it's like you're bringing in people from all over the world into your seed group. So probably in the future, it'll be more localized. So you will be members of a seed group, but you, instead of serving like the whole world, you'll be serving your community. So you'll be, like where you live or where you work or something like that, or a club that you're a member of. You'll be serving those people, helping anyone that comes in there to start using BrightID for the first time. So you'll still have your seed powers. You'll just be using them with a different group of people. And I hope that we'll be able to make that transition from like people that have no reason to get together and barely know each other and have no reason to get together other than because they want to use BrightID, to people who already know each other in some way or have some other reason to be getting together than just BrightID. And then those people, so there's some other social ties going on there, and those people will be making the BrightID connections, and there will be stars in those groups too. Or I guess they won't be stars; they'll be seed people. I don't think we'll call them stars anymore. We'll just call them seed group members. So that's how I see the evolution going, and I hope it happens soon. Like you mentioned, 2 years. I hope it's sooner than 2 years when we start seeing more of that.
I think
Go ahead, John.
to add to what Adam was just saying is, I think there's so many apps using BrightID already, and I think that number is going to start to increase. And I think that's an area that BrightID stars can also help in onboarding and evangelizing to other apps, and then maybe running community events for those apps in specific. I think that's another area that BrightID stars can be super helpful in.
I would say I view BrightID stars as BrightID ambassadors, and right now you guys are playing small ball and being ambassadors in the connection parties. And in the future, when connection parties aren't so primary to BrightID, that you can be ambassadors in other and more impactful ways, right? Bringing in applications, bringing in communities. So yeah, being community leaders. I mean, how many times has Ashraf, written in Discord about, hey, how do you go verified? You come to a connection. You come to a connection party. So yeah, just being those community leaders, and I think that we're going to see significant growth in the community and the number of people popping in, and they're going to have questions, and we need the people that are just like, yeah, I think it's my job sort of to answer the question, because it's this open community. Someone says a question, like, just out into the open. It's not any one particular person's job, but it needs to get answered for that person. So I definitely see and appreciate stars doing that role. But yeah, you guys are the ambassadors, and we should also make it not all guys. Do we have any women stars?
We do not.
That's
We have Shirley.
We have Shirley and Rafina in Chinese connection
Rafina,
parties.
yeah.
awesome. I have yet to meet them, but that's great. I hope we can definitely expand that. I mean, that's a crypto and technology problem largely, but we should do better than the baseline.
How do you is there anything in your mind that we can do better in that regard? I don't think that I don't think that we are treating women any differently than we treat men. But I'm curious if there is anything that can be done in that regard. Like, how do you attract more women in the parties? Like it just it's not it's not something I don't know. What do you think?
One thing is, I think when we start leaning more into real communities, that may attract more women. I think that community is a thing that feels more right to some women than kind of like the crypto, the money, the crypto bro. There's a lot to turn off, but if we can really turn on that community is important here, that might draw sort of a different set of people in. So we'll see, but I think we already have a reputation of being a very welcoming place, which is not how all of crypto works. I've heard that many times from different people that have popped in. It's like, I just felt welcome when I showed up. So I know you guys are regularly trying to do that, and we should continue to lean into that.
Yeah. Yeah, we always try that, and BrightID stars has been people, or have been people that are I think people that are interested in talking to others. They are friendly people, and that's why they showed up again, and they enjoyed the company of others, talking to others, and that was one of the early incentives for them to I'm verified and I'm showing up again just to be among these people, talking to these people. I have something in my mind that I wanna ask everyone, including BrightID stars and others. Think of Ashraf or Ehsan or Carlos. They show up in 4 connection parties every day. Ashraf even more than that. Ashraf is showing up into 6 connection parties every single day, talking to these people. It gets kind of boring after some time. It's the same exact process, And of course, people are nice. We talk to people, you say hello to different people, but at some point, because like this is coming from my experience of being a teacher for like 8 years, at some point it gets like it's the same thing. It's the same thing. I want to ask Ashraf himself, how do you do it? How do you like keep, and he's always smiling, he's always nice. He's not some irritated guy that, okay, here we go again. This is BrightID. Learn about this and yeah, scan this QR code and get out. He's like nice to people. He keeps it up. I want to ask Ashraf because he's joining like a lot of connection parties more than any one of us. I want to know how he does it. How do you like keep your spirits up? And I want to ask others, how do we prevent that? How do we prevent connection parties from getting like boring and repetitive, like for the
Yeah,
stars? But
Oh,
Ashraf,
for the
actually,
how do you do
stars,
it?
I think
there's
Ashraf
no
is a machine.
there's no hope.
Yeah.
That's
But
a
for
nice
actually,
the
machine.
people, it's nice. But for if you're a star, I mean, you've done it 100 times, so it's gonna be boring and repetitive.
yeah, absolutely. It's right now. When I start to work on BrightID at the first time, when I feel very interesting, but right now it's not so much. And the maximum time, if you love any jobs, look like this, because when you join any connection party, you can see many people from different country, like someone from join Nigeria, someone from joining from others country. You when you say, when they are using their native language, you can, yeah, it's an enjoyable work for me. And yeah, absolutely, if sometimes they are wishing you thank you, and they are saying thank you with their native language, that time you don't feeling the boring. It's actually, if you love this type of job, so this is the perfect place for bright idea stars.
Hmm.
So host maximum connection party, so you can see many people from many countries.
Yeah. And you
Yeah, I
joined like
think the
Chinese
same.
connection parties as well.
And the most of the I mean hardest past hardest tasks for me and the Chinese, because I cannot speak Chinese, and I really don't want to write Chinese, but thanks to Google, because yeah, Google translated help us more. Yeah, I remember when I start to translate it to Chinese, because at the first time we don't have lot of bright ideas start from the Chinese. I am the only one who are helping to tiptoe, and some other one or two bright ideas start from China, and they are not they cannot understand English, so they are not asking me any question, and that time I need to translate it everything, I need to send them, and I want to introduce them, yeah, this is bright id works like this, not like this. And right now also, and they are actually very busy about DAO squad members mainly, and that's why I am still joining every Chinese connection party. If no one's joined, because we have about 10 bright ideas star on for the Chinese community. So if no one joining, so I am messaging another ones. So please join this connection party. After that, I am leave that connection party. So actually, I am a digital marketer, and I am all the time on the computer. So that's why I can join more and more connection party actually.
Do you ever
I
I
see.
sleep?
don't think he can sleep or even
You can't.
eat anything.
Ashraf doesn't
Actually,
sleep.
actually, in my country, yeah, I am working also some for some client. Those are from California, and I need also maintain also USA time. That's why, yeah, I am already all time is on the computer.
I think Ashraf is super rich in his country and he doesn't show
Actually, not.
it.
Yeah.
But you should be. Like I think yeah, like the personality that Ashraf has and the help that he is providing for all the BrightID community deserves a lot of compensation. Like he's always nice. He's always there. But how do we prevent parties from becoming boring for BrightID stars? A part of it is that as a BrightID star, you're not listening to others because it's interesting to hear from the guests. Like, okay, why are you here? And when they talk, it's nice,
Yeah.
but it doesn't happen so much because the most of the party is just you leading others, giving the intro, talking about the social recovery, talking about the apps that are connected, and then if you have any questions, I'm here. If not, goodbye. And usually there are like a few questions. But I don't want Ehsan or Carlos or like new Bright ID stars like Vladislav and Igor to be like burnt out after like a couple of months showing up to these parties.
So one thing that might help a little bit is if if they get into Aura, the game, and then figuring out like where they want to make their bets. So they're the front lines of meeting these people. They're going to be the first ones. Which, if you think about it from a game, it's like, all right, well, where do I want to make my bets in this game? And just that extra layer might add to it, and also it might give them a reason to interact more with the individuals because right now they're mostly just trying to get information out. They're not trying to get information in. Just, other than making sure someone's not an obvious scammer, they're not trying to gain anything. But in Aura, if they're going to be now rating someone and playing a game, now they're trying to like glean some information that could make it more interesting.
Yeah.
That's what actually I envision for us maybe later down the road. When I joined at the beginning, well, BrightID meetings, I I didn't do it like to even join BrightID. I just wanted to have more connections because I saw the potential for this, especially the potential in well getting more rewards in the future. That's what drove me here. Like then I started to learn more about BrightID. It was able to well have a meeting with Philip Paslar and I think it was I don't remember. I remember I was with Walter from POAP. I don't remember if it was the meeting, the same meeting that we have with Superfit or Super Left. So yeah, well, I think that meeting was the one that just allowed me to join, or what drove me, what higher like likeness to join. But yeah, like I don't know. At the beginning, I just wanted to make more connections, to meet more people, and to just get a better standing in the social graph. So I think Aura is going to well probably make it happen faster for people that are somehow interested, and will just yeah like seizing the chances that the technologies give. Like that's something that I've been trying to advocate since I joined the crypto space. Like use all the platforms and all the technologies that you're seeing, you're probably going to see or find something interesting in the future. If you don't, will you just learn a new thing and it will yeah. So I think Aura is going to make that happen. We're probably going to have more power users or people trying to just help other people that they know they can be trustworthy into the space or into BrightID. That's I think that hopefully the reward that some of these people are going to get because they want to have connection with really good people and I will probably say yeah not good people. I think I'm trying to find the exact word but it just evades me. So yeah,
Well-known people.
no, it's people that is going to be worthwhile to have like a connection with because they're going to be honest. Okay, I think that's the term. So honest people that are going to be doing exactly the job and are trying to just game the system somehow. So yeah, I don't know. Like I'm super excited to see what's coming next. So that also keeps me here. And well, Pride is trying to bring a lot of of stuff that I yeah, I don't know. Like I like to be here because I feel like Brady has a big soul. So yeah.
About the question Paslar made, I think is more something like in a personal level. We
Hmm.
cannot say that generalize that everyone feel the same about something, right? Because some people just get bored in a party, I mean, in a real party with music, with people, and they get bored and just go. So we cannot say that you are going to get bored or no. It's really difficult to say that. But if you think about it from the perspective of a responsibility, I mean, if you have some responsibility, it's not the same responsibility like a medic with the patients, but it's a kind of responsibility to make a good job and make a job well done, right? So when you fulfill that responsibility, you feel good about what you did. So that's some mentality I got about it. That's the reason every time we finish, I just say aloud, another meeting just finished. I just said it in every meeting because it's like the nail in my fulfillment in that the meeting is done.
It's done.
So
It's finished. Yeah.
and it's about mentality because people just get when people make something repetitive, they just get tedious for them, so they get bored. But some people don't feel bored about.
Yeah. I feel
So
like I feel
Yeah.
like a little teacher. Yeah. Just
maybe some if you are feeling bored, maybe just a little bit vacation, like going and
yeah. That's something that actually I wanted to tell you guys. I don't know. Well, I don't know if okay. The thing is, we like here in Latin America, we really like our Sundays. Like even if you pay us 3, 4, 5 times, we really like to have our Sundays off, and we can miss really big opportunities just to have the Sundays off. We like to to spend the time with the family or to just rest. And actually, I think that what has prevented me to get super burned out because actually the Sundays for me are pretty good to have, and you guys should have at least one day of the week. I know some of you don't have it. You should have it. Honestly, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how you guys work so hard. Like, I need to have one day off.
Sundays off.
You know
I
I
don't
what
know.
keeps me not bored on like on meetings and the calls
Hmm.
is like the same reason I joined Bright ID. You know, I've been around and I got familiar with Bright ID. I think it was 3 years ago, and I was uh, in the office with Mahdi, and he was working on Bright ID. And I always listened to his explanation on the algorithms of Bright ID, and I was really curious, and I was really interested in how does Bright ID work, and how is it gonna like reach its objectives, and is it even possible, or and I was like uh, watching Bright ID all the time, uh, and I saw the opportunity that I can be involved in Bright ID, so I dived in. And that's why, it is like, it's not getting bored on meetings. It's like when it gets crowded, it becomes hard. You know, uh, that's all that you need to only speak for 10 minutes. That's all. You don't need to do a lot to be bored. Actually, it's not being boring. It's not boring
Yeah.
to me,
Hmm.
at least to me. But I think it is good that you communicate with the people all around the world, and what they speak to us. But sometimes it gets hard. Yeah, I need to admit that. But
Eh,
it hasn't been boring to me, like never.
Like, it's something that has actually happened as well when we finished the previous international English speaking meeting. Like, okay, that will be like the 9 p.m. UTC after the Spanish speaking call. We usually stay there like the last 20 minutes, just talking about anything else that is happening in the crypto space. I like
Yeah, I
that
love
that
those
that, that
times.
yeah, those times are pretty cool. Or we just I just complain a lot in those calls because I like to complain. My wife said that I'm just a little box of chickens. So yeah, that's the meaning of my last name. Yeah. So. eh, so yeah, we usually just spend some time there talking about different stuff. So sometimes when the meeting is a little bit uh, yeah, the tedious, but you're looking forward for that moment so you can relax and start the new meeting. And we just will try to rotate a little bit who is hosting and who is making the connections, so we can stay. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jordan.
To add to this, so we talked about like building community, right, and expanding our community, and I think like when the ideal version of BrightID is like being in person, and we're trying to solve this problem right now of being decentralized. I think like finding ways to build communities online and do things outside of just meeting on these Zoom calls to connect, and then that's it. We sign off like. And one thing that I think we've talked about before, and that comes to mind right now, is like gaming is a huge part of like online communities. Some people have friends that they've only ever played a game. So I think it would be
Oh yeah.
interesting to kind of investigate, you know, having some sort of game to play where people are brought together, and a part of that is like, okay, let's have 5 minutes, 10 minutes at the beginning. Let's talk about BrightID. Let's play this game. Let's get to know each other a little bit, like some kind of social game, and that brings our bonds a little bit closer together. And that for sure is super annoying for anyone that's trying to civil attack the system. And yeah, so and then it becomes like an interesting layer on top of that, like can we use in-game information to strengthen your position in the graph? Like, you know, you've played this game X number of times, you have a high score of this. Like that would be really interesting kind of metrics to feed into the graph.
Yeah, that's exactly the right way to think about it. And I mean, before when Carlos was talking, I was thinking about like imagine, you know, instead of just connection parties, right now they're by language, which does have some sense of community, especially, you know, if the language is tied to a specific region or something, which is often the case. So sometimes you'll have some commonalities there. But like imagine if there was like something to do or something to engage in. And I was thinking like a chess club or something. So because I think in the future the communities will be around things like that. So it's not like you're getting together just to do BrightID. It's like, okay, we have our chess club, and then at the end for the last 10 minutes, anyone who wants to stick around can make BrightID connections or something like that. And that way it's a more natural, organic community. And I think Philip had something to say.
Yeah, I mean, just you know, when you know, Joran brought up that gaming kind of out of nowhere, and I was having exactly the same thoughts. And you know, I think it'd be really cool if people come together and like sort of play cooperative / strategic games with each other, and then right the outcomes of that worked into the system, and whether that works in like directly into the algorithms or it just works into like how you rate the other people, because there's a bunch of games that it's like, okay, you can like cooperate and get these benefits, or you can defect and for a little while gain more benefits, but in the long run the community will stop trusting you. And I've always thought that there was some aspect of that we could use to strengthen BrightID. And I imagine it would certainly be more fun as a star to like, all right, guys, here we are. We all know we're showing up to play games with each other, and we actually, you know, create games that are fun to play. I mean, my daughter loves playing Among Us. I don't know who's played that, but you know, it's
Yeah.
just little character. You got these little characters on a spaceship.
Yeah.
Most of them are cooperating to save things, and one or two of them are trying to kill everybody. And
That would be Go on. I have
and, probably not exactly that game, but she can play this game over and over again, and you never know. And she likes to play online, like with a friend, and so sometimes like they sort of think they're cooperating, but then it turns out, oh, actually one of these times, you're the killer and you're trying to kill everyone, including your friend, and they try to work together, but they also know they might be lying, and I just think something like that could be really interesting within this framework.
It'd be funny if you could actually like get some information, like so a Sybil attacker just can't help themselves and they're always the traitor in a game. Or something like it. But imagine if you had in the connection party page, instead of it being by language, it was by the game that you play. So it's like, do you want to play Among Us for 40 minutes and then get BrightID verified? Come to this party. You want to?
But cannot be the only way. You need to be more open to the people that don't like games too.
Yeah,
So,
I know.
But
I guess
keep
the
in
whole
mind,
point is that it's common interest, finding a common interest to bring people together.
And soon connection parties are coming to a connection party and connecting to a BrightID star is not going to be the answer for much longer. That has to change. That had to change months ago, and we haven't quite gotten over that hump yet, but it's coming. It can't be that. You're going to have to make more connections. It's going to have to be an algorithm, social graph based method like we always imagined. It'll still help you to have come to a connection party and gotten that, but like that by itself ain't gonna cut it. And therefore, it should also be true that you don't have to come to a connection party, because you can just connect to people in the real world that also are on BrightID and get on. It may be harder, and yet you got to know someone. Like I remember when Circles launched, people were all looking around like, ooh, how can I connect to the existing Circles graph? Because that was the only way to get in. There were some parts that weren't ideal about that, but we've also now got 16,000 people in our graph, which they didn't have when they launched. So when we turn that on, that, hey, you've got to connect to people that already have it, we've already got 16,000 people in the graph. We're not starting at zero. So I think it's more viable to say, hey, you gotta find some people.
Yeah, the meeting that we had with the experience that we had with Nigeria, like gave me the thought that we need another role, like what you said, like an ambassador or a representative that can exist not only on the online world, but especially for now that the COVID situation is going to be over. I hope, like everywhere, like around the country, like all the countries. I think we need like some representatives that can hold the meetings and like hold the events on different countries, different universities. So like real people can. I don't mean by real people. I don't mean like those on BrightID are fake. I mean, like those who are not online all the time. Like actually, those who are on BrightID, those who are verified on BrightID, they really know what crypto world is. Like they are really familiar with the crypto world, so they are familiar with BrightID, and that because of that knowledge, they are here. I think BrightID is like more than this. It's not being like for all the online world. It's not all for the online world, and it can be something that 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 is like in real life, in everyday life. So we can have another role like an ambassador that that are from all around the world, like the same experience we had with Vietnam, we had with Nigeria. They were all here, and they wanted to get verified, but they didn't have like the proper content to be familiar with BrightID more and more, so they can see what they can do with BrightID, and maybe we can have more ideas with that. Like if we have some representatives from who knows like locally at a special country, uh, it, it, it helps our community to grow. Like, yeah.
But you means like in a corporation way, like a corporative way of things,
Someone
like
who is really interested on BrightID, you mean, who can help BrightID, you know, who really likes to help BrightID grow. It's
I
not
mean
like a
like a
professional.
building with BrightID in the front,
No,
and
it
you
can be
work
an
there.
individual
Okay, okay.
who can hold a meeting in local zone regions, like for
Yeah,
example, I can do it in my university. I can
yeah, I get it.
hold an event, and I can represent.
I
I can, yeah.
I don't know if you guys want now to just stop recording, or do you guys want to keep just having this on the record? I really would love.
What
Well,
happened?
Pastor, I
muted.
think you're muted. Yeah.
I just wanted to say that maybe we could like stop recording after I thank Ashraf, Carlos, Ehsan, and Victor, and Igor, and Jorin, and Sergey, and Bitsika, and
Sergey left.
Yazdani, and
No,
also
Sergey's here.
thank Adam and Philip for creating this and making this happen. And thank you for being here. I'm gonna stop recording so we can, I don't know,
Yeah,
Carlos wants to talk about a secret. Let's stop recording. Thank you everyone. And